Hello, everyone, and welcome back to. What are you doing to that egg? You weird bird. Okay, whatever. Uh, welcome back to.
Don't
What was it?
question that, but you don't question the random teddy bear on top of the roof.
What
No,
was it doing?
I, well, whatever. Anyway, we're in a helicopter now. This is the final mission. So yeah, so there's no alternate paths in the last mission. They just make up for it by it having it be like a half hour long. So
Why did you choose the helicopter over the fighter jet?
Because the helicopter's new. That was really
Oh.
the only reason. The fighter
Okay.
jet is in. I actually prefer the fighter jet for the most part, but the helicopter is new for Metal Slug 3, so I wanted to show off what was new. Yeah. I would have died really quickly anyway. I really like this flying sequence. It's just fun for whatever reason.
I forgot the jetpack was a thing.
The ideas of jetpacks are stupid because you would have to realize that the exhaust would burn your legs and ass. Every
Okay,
time
you know
use
what?
it.
But the idea of a motorcycle is stupid because you basically would burn your legs if you when you have it that close to the engine. But we made it work. All right, you just wear leather and you're probably fine.
I think if you're properly suited with fireproof pants, or at least flame
Claire-
retardant.
Claire Redfield's outfit in Resident Evil 2 was so stupid for riding that the novel actually had to acknowledge that she panicked and left too quickly and didn't gear up.
And
I'm
isn't the
kinda
remake
glad-
changing her pants?
Are
The
they
remake
giving
gave
her
her,
pants?
they gave her long pants and a full leather jacket, and it still has the design on the back, but she's actually geared up for riding a motorcycle now. It's funny because Elsa Walker, the character who was in the beta version of Resident Evil 2, 1.5, is in full biker gear, like a racing outfit and everything, full body racing outfit. They just sort of decided not to do that for Claire for some reason. It always amused me. Yeah. Also, Leon looks exactly like the cops I saw at the courthouse when I went in for jury duty, and that kind of puts me off. In a way. It's
So the best way to play this level is to actually have your helicopter be inside the other enemies because
Yeah.
then then they can't hit you, which is dumb.
Oh, yeah.
But whatever. Ow.
well, perspective-wise, you're probably just flying beside them. Why they can't just turn left and shoot you that way?
I also love that when you go low to the ground, you actually start running on the ground. I love that sprite animation. That's just really cool.
Look at how fast I can run you using the jetpack, aren't you? No, I'm totally this fast. Excelsior
Kind
away!
of reminds me of that. Kind of reminds me of that one. Kind of reminds me of that one weird moment in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows where they had Harry run on top of a truck for some reason. Even
Wait.
though there was really no reason to have them that close to the cars in the first place. But
Wait, in what
It's just
Harry
like,
Potter does
why?
this happen?
oh, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. At the beginning, there's this massive air battle in the book. They took the air battle closer to the ground.
Oh,
so
I
that
remember
everyone
that.
is
I
fighting
remember that
around
now.
at traffic level. Yeah, it's dumb because that's the worst thing that a secret wizarding society could possibly do is have a battle where everyone in cars could see you. But the movies sort of threw logic out the window several movies ago. So, whatever. They have him run across the top of a truck when he's hanging from an upside down motorcycle. It got silly.
Harry Potter is silly. Never.
Well, in the books, at least, the silliness has a method to the madness. In the movies, the shark just gets jumped multiple times by the end of the series, and it gets a little overbearing.
I just
Yeah,
find
no one
it.
ever considers that shark's poor feelings.
I just find it funny that the movies, the lighthearted ones, feel less silly than the serious ones. It's kind of the opposite effect you're going for. there.
That's more because Chris Columbus is bad at directing, though.
What other movies did he do other than the Harry Potter ones?
I don't know. I just know that he can't pace
Chris
anything.
Columbus?
Well, I mean, he's at least by default better than the other famous Christopher Columbus. So he's got that going for for him. But
I don't know, man. He's got a whole holiday to himself.
yeah, that he doesn't deserve. But I'm not gonna get on that rant because we'll be here for an hour.
It takes a special kind of skill to discover a new continent when you're actually trying to head somewhere else.
Well, he didn't discover it. Okay.
Chris Columbus is responsible for Home Alone. and Home Alone 2, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, okay, those
really?
are good movies. You know, but they're also not like action movies either. So he probably would have been better suited for when they were
What?
trying to be more.
You don't remember that
whimsy.
part of Mrs. Doubtfire where he was listening to the Gulf War?
What?
That is Mrs. Doubtfire, I'm thinking of, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't know where all his talent went during the first 2 Harry Potter movies, but for some reason he just paced them like a slog. So
I wouldn't say it's a matter of talent. I think he just wasn't in his niche. You know, it was a different sort of genre.
yeah, slapstick comedy. Yeah, I can see it.
Well, the thing is that Harry Potter's rife for slapstick comedy because like it's magic and shit. You know.
Well, yeah, and there are moments, but even
the fucking library label you can find Harry Potter under is magic and shit.
It's part of the Dewey Decimal System now.
Oh, okay.
the comedy that actually does show up though is kind of weak, to be honest. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, this is also the final boss from the first Metal Slug, just straight up reused here, in case you were curious. But you get the turret now, so that's cool, I guess. Also, the flashing on that boss is going to give me an epileptic seizure, so that's fun.
Couldn't jump out in time to invincibility frame the missiles, huh?
Nope. Which sucks, because I was like 1 hit away from killing him anyway.
Yeah.
Also, lol, he was an alien the whole time! Don't take me away, Spaghetti Monster. Don't!
Is that the real thing up there? I was trying to
Yeah,
get the ship.
yeah.
Well, he's dead now for going to space.
Yeah. So, actually, one cool thing about the game now is that the character you get chosen after, that gets chosen after is random, but whenever you get a game over and are trying to pick your character again, you can no longer pick the character that gets kidnapped, which I just think is a cool touch.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
To space.
It also gives the game a reason to have 4 playable characters narratively, even though it's only a 2-player game.
Yeah. And now we're playing Galaga.
This finale kind of like when I first played it, it came out of nowhere, and I loved it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a spectacle for sure. It's just not something I ever want to go back to play, you know? I guess that's the best way to put it. Just because it's again, not that it's not fun. I don't want to make it sound like I hate the game or nothing. It's just a lot of the bosses I find obnoxious. The enemies I think take too much bullets.
To be honest, I didn't have the best mindset to evaluate this game critically when I got to it, because I played all the Metal Slug games in a marathon. By the time I got to 3, I was kind of numb to death, so I just sort of slogged on through.
Yeah, for sure. I guess the thing is that I bought these games on the Switch, and I did play them in a marathon, but I did eventually go back and I was like, okay, I want to try to get good at this game, you know, with a G and a U and everything. And so I did actually manage to get pretty far in with Metal Slug X in particular. I think I have managed to get like up through most of the 3rd level without getting a game over. And that was something that I was relatively proud of. So when I tried to do that with Metal Slug 3, I just found that I couldn't, and I didn't feel like it was my fault all the time. You know, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a fair way to put it.
Yeah.
I feel this would have been better if your ship was a little smaller.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
probably, for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing about bullet hells is that your hitbox is supposed to be tiny.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, now it makes sense.
Yeah. You're not supposed to be able to hang on to the... Like, honestly, I was surprised I hanged, that's not a real word. I'm surprised I hung on to the rocket as long as I did, all things considered. One thing that I'm actually curious about is if the game compensates for multiplayer in terms of boss strength. Because that's a crapshoot in these kinds of games, whether or not they will or won't. Sometimes they will, and it actually takes more time to kill it in multiplayer than in single player. And sometimes they don't, and it takes like a fraction of the time. But it...
Wait, how are you falling?
I got this one. We're not actually... The camera keeps on moving up, but the body just stays in the same spot. There, I got it. So it only looks like we're falling.
I mean, that works.
Are you sure?
It's the
Yeah.
best solution I've got. at this point. Although I do...
Because if that's the case, wouldn't you just immediately slow down and just fall down? You clearly go up and fall down.
Okay, dude, look, we were beating up Sasquatches a few parts ago.
Listen, man, you said you had an explanation, and I'm calling you out.
Okay, well then... okay, fine. You know what? Instead of trying to tear me down, why don't you come up with an explanation, man? All right? If you think you're so
the
great.
burden of proof is not on the person who's trying to disprove it.
Okay, I like to look at it as not as us working against each other, but us trying to find a common ground to move forward in the quest for knowledge here.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
Okay, fine. If you want to be like...
And the faster we can accept that, the better we will be as people.
Alright, the real explanation is that if you're moving in any direction, the background will always be moving slower because stars are distant. In fact, the fact that the stars are moving at all is an indication that we're going way too fast to survive.
We had to slow down first.
So at this point, you can't control your movement, so I was really just hoping for that last power-up to bounce its way into me accidentally.
Yeah.
Well, you would have lost it anyway, so...
Well, that's true. But at several points there, I was trying to dodge the rockets because I had so many heavy machine gun bullets, and I didn't want to completely uncollect those by picking up the rockets. So, yeah. Also, this is just the final boss of Metal Slug 2, so we're doing that RPG thing where this is just a normal encounter now. So we're cool now, right? No? Okay. All right.
Nope.
That's good.
Metal Slug the after years.
And also, when
Now
you
we're-
think that you're done with the vertical scrooting, what the the vertical shooting stuff.
When you think you're done with the vertical scrotum, here comes the horizontal scrotum to give you the shaft.
What would
The
the scrotum is just circular. It's neither vertical nor
I
horizontal.
was not expecting you to follow up.
Okay,
we're really doing the Independence Day thing now, though. We're going inside the mothership.
yeah. So I guess they just really liked that movie, you know, to call back to it several times. Because there is a president in this game. You can rescue him a couple of times, and he is the president.
Is
And-
it Lone Star?
No, but I think he is.
Yeah, it's a Bill Pullman.
He's supposed to look like Bill Clinton. I know for sure.
Like that's some sort of bill.
I mean,
Was Bill Clinton the president at the time this game was made?
no, but this came out in 2001. But he was recent enough to president. Like he had just left
Yeah.
office at this point.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because W. Bush was probably only in office for less
A
than
few
12
months.
months at that point. Wait, no. Yeah, less than 12 months because you don't get sworn in until the next year.
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
you know, if you tried to do George W. in sprite form, it would probably just look like Mr. Rogers, so...
Yeah, probably.
It would just be an old guy in a sweater, come on.
You know, I was never good at... I never really liked vertical shooters as opposed to horizontal ones. I mean, granted, that's just a TV versus arcade screen kind of thing, where our TVs are more set up for horizontal as opposed to vertical, whereas arcade
What
screens...
is just
Well,
what is just the orientation for you? Person?
Yeah, because like on a
Less
vertical...
less so the 4x3, because, well, it doesn't really matter whether it's horizontal or vertical. You have approximately the same amount of space.
Yeah, that is true, because in the 4x3, it's still more horizontal than vertical, just not as much. But especially on 16:9, you just get way more space to see when you're... Yeah. That's actually something really cool that they're doing with the Switch now, is that some arcade games give you the option to, when you're playing the Switch in handheld mode, to have it so that you can flip the screen vertically and move your Switch vertically so that you can see it at the original aspect ratio on the screen.
Ikaruga does that.
That's really cool. Like, that's a unique way to use the hardware. So, you know. Damn it.
Did they confirm that Radiant Silvergun was coming to Switch at all? Since like everything on the grandmother's getting ported to Switch.
Is your pencil game getting ported to Switch, John?
Fuck, I wish. Think of all the licensing deals.
Too many pencils.
So So there's a vertical shooter by Epic Mega Games, and the only reason it's notable in this case is because the game has several planets in it, and one of them is Hoth and the other is Gallifrey. So
What's
I just like to
Gallifrey?
squint my eyes and imagine that it's a Star Wars Doctor Who crossover.
Oh, okay, Doctor Who. Sorry.
Gallifrey is
well,
the
the Hoth is from-
home
Hoth is
world
from
of the
Star
Time Lords. And we
Is
all know what
Radiant-
Hoth is.
Is Radiant Silvergun made by the people who did Ikaruga?
I want to say so because Ikaruga is considered a spiritual successor.
Does it have the color changing gimmick in it, or
No, you just have a fuckload of weapons.
okay?